Poshmark is finally making this change, and I'm so excited. It is going to be huge for us, and it is long time overdue. Hey friends, how are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing so well, and I'm so excited for today's video because I just got off of not a Zoom, but like a YouTube Posh live thing where Poshmark was coming live to us from Posh Fest, which apparently started today. It's in Texas. Not everyone can get there. It was expensive. There's a whole lot of things involved in this. But they were broadcasting the State of the Posh Union address. The founder of Poshmark, Manish Chandra, he was coming to us live today. So I just got off watching him address the Posh Fest people, and it gave me some very valuable insight. I'm glad I was able to hop on, but I'm gonna share with you what happened just in case you weren't able to watch this. And it is big news, a big impact for us. If you are a reseller on Poshmark, even if you're a casual reseller or a part-time reseller, this is gonna have huge repercussions for us, and I'm so excited about it finally. So I think the most important thing, this is at the very beginning, he came out and just said it right away because he knew that they were gonna get asked about it all weekend, and that is the huge algorithm change that Poshmark made this last year to their search feature, where it really made a lot of resellers upset. They changed how the search algorithm worked and changed how your different things that you're searching for get filtered, and it really affected a lot of sellers in a really negative way. A lot of people saw a huge decrease in sales. A lot of people had to actually go out and get new jobs because they couldn't make it then as resellers since Poshmark changed everything without letting us know beforehand. It was a big hot conspiracy. It was a big hot topic in the reselling world this year. But he came out and said today that starting this weekend, so what, today is September 29th. Oh my gosh, I just gave myself goosebumps. Starting this weekend, as in like the beginning of October, they are rolling back the algorithm change. So they're gonna reverse the algorithm change that they implemented. They said roll it back, so not completely get rid of it is my understanding, but they're gonna roll back some of the changes so that it won't affect us quite as much on the reselling side, which is huge news. That is the biggest news I have heard in a long time from Posh. I know that it was a PR nightmare for them. I remember sitting in one of their fireside chats with some of their leaders at Poshmark, and just like people were enraged. So many people were angry because this is their livelihood. It's really nice. He came out and acknowledged the pain that this change made, which was really nice to hear because a lot of times when people were talking about it from Poshmark in the past, they were saying, no, this isn't because of the algorithm. You need to adapt. This is because of COVID. That's why your sales are decreasing. So it was nice that they came out and said, we acknowledge the pain that this has caused. We acknowledge that there was a lot of controversy around this. And so they're rolling it back. And he said that the reason why was that because of all the negative feedback they've received and that it was splitting the community. So he said that let's put this behind us and move forward. So it felt a little bit like they were trying to sweep it under the rug a little bit that it happened, but I don't even care at this point. I'm just happy that it's finally going to get changed because it's been months and months of having increased things in my closet, increased sharing, increased better items, more time spent working, and fewer sales because of that change. So I'm excited to see what sales are going to look like this first weekend of October 2022. Hopefully they're good. So that was the biggest change. That's the biggest thing that they announced for sure. While I was tuning in on the YouTube live, there were about 400, 420, 450 of us. And then on the Poshmark app, there was also around 300 people. So in total, about 700 people tuning in. Plus, I think there's 400 people there live. So a lot of people are not either tuning in or there in person. So hopefully this helps you so you can keep in the loop. I'm gonna tell you some of the other things they announced because there's more. That was just the biggest thing. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm talking so fast. So that was the thing that really just like caught my attention. It was very early on, and I'm glad that they talked about it and addressed it right off the bat so that they didn't have to spend the whole weekend talking about it. So next up, we're going to talk about what they talked about next. He just talked about the core values of Poshmark, which I thought was like, it was just a lot of fluff. There's a lot of fluff and like, ooh, who was at Posh Fest 2013? Things like that. Where I was just like, it wasn't that important. But he did mention too at one of these things, he gave us a lot of stats about who attends Posh parties, and then how many offers are made to buyers every second, things like that. And that was like, okay. But then he also talked about how he was talking about this as a good thing, but he said that their fee structure on Poshmark has not changed in 10 years, and that no other company can really claim that people are always updating their fee structure, how much places are taking from you when you sell something on their platform, like eBay or Mercari. eBay takes around 10%, and then it changes, people make some updates or shipping fees change, things like that. But he was saying it as a really good thing that Poshmark hasn't changed their pay structure in 10 years. But I don't know if that's a really good positive thing, because they are the highest out of every selling platform. I don't know a single selling platform that takes more money from what you sell than Poshmark does, which is frustrating. It is very frustrating, because they do have a good following. They have a lot of users on the platform. It's really user-friendly, I think, except for when they made the algorithm change and it was hard to find anything. Other than that, I think that really they could hopefully they'll take some comments and take some feedback from people at Poshmark, because I feel like if they limited that percentage of what they're taking from their things that sellers are selling, I think they'd have a lot more people willing to put a lot more things solely on Poshmark. It's just something that I heard him say, and I was just like, the fee structure is not the best on Poshmark. They take a lot of money out. They do have a really good shipping policy for bundling. It's just a straight $7 and 49 cents right now. So there's pros and cons to every selling platform, but that was something interesting that he's mentioned that I was a little like, I had some thoughts about. And then 2 more super important announcements that I think were made that you guys need to know about. So hopefully you've heard about this. This has been a new feature that they've been rolling out. They were showing a whole timeline of all these different Posh features that they've rolled out. Things like giving love notes and when they're allowed to, add bundle discounts, things like that. And then the newest thing, the thing that everybody's talking about right now, is Posh Shows, which is a live reselling feature now on Poshmark. Right now it's in the beta testing. Not everyone's allowed to be on it or be using Posh Shows, which I get they need to test it on some people. I wish they had asked me to do it, because I think I would have been a good tester for that. But they're talking about Posh Shows. So he gave us some insight into just Posh Shows in general. Not really anything that's actually useful, but just that it should be coming out to more people here in the near future. It's very similar to Whatnot. I know Whatnot has been taking the reselling world by storm recently. And I know that people really like that live interaction with sellers. So he really was focusing on how selling things live is very at the heart of Poshmark. That was the main focus, about how Poshmark's all about community and about people coming together and how we can sell together, blah, blah, blah. That kind of stuff. Not the most helpful information, is just mostly, I don't even know why we were talking about that. But he said it would take a couple years for all of it to come together between, figuring out shipping and auctions and all of the different things that come together to make Posh Shows. So we're going to be looking at a lot of probably bugs and fixes in the next year or so, I would say. But he also stressed too that the Posh Shows are not just for influencers. And I think that that's something that's interesting to note, because I do think that for Whatnot and things like that, or Instagram, you have to have a huge following. At least in my opinion, you have to have a larger following in order to make sales. You need to have enough people inside of your auction fighting for your pieces in order to make those sales. I tried out Whatnot twice, and I liked interacting with my subscribers from here on YouTube, but I didn't love the feeling of I was trying to convince people to buy things. I didn't like that. I think that using it on Poshmark would be a better way, because then they have listings of the items as well you can use. And Whatnot was just not very intuitive, especially on the selling end of things. It was really hard to list items, to have them ready for your show. And I just thought it was a hassle. So I'm excited to try out Posh Shows. And he said that he started really looking into making Posh Shows in mid-July. And it is September. When did Whatnot start? Really, he just stressed connections, people, community when he was talking about Posh Shows, and didn't really give us any concrete information on them. But he did talk about them and kind of gave us a little bit of a timeline when he said that it's gonna take a couple of years for it all to come together. He also mentioned that one of his Poshmark people that works for him is going to be reaching out to people to invite them to do Posh shows. And then the very last kind of important thing that he talked about, the more so he did talk to about how teenagers are now proud to say that they go thrift shopping, that that's their favorite place to shop, and that thrifting and secondhand is becoming more of a mainstream cultural norm, which is great. I know growing up I thrifted, but it wasn't cool. It was definitely something to be scared that somebody was gonna see you thrifting, you know? So he talked about how that's become more mainstream. But then the last thing, the biggest thing at the end that he talked about was their plan for this holiday season. So this is important because holiday season is notoriously a very, very good time to be selling things. He also talked about the waste that comes about this season, as so many manufacturers are putting out so much inventory. A lot of it doesn't get used, but people like to buy at this time of the year. But there's a lot of waste around this time of year. And so he said that this year they're going to be launching Secondhand Sundays. That's going to be the name of it. So I don't know how much this is going to catch on or not, but it's going to be, from what I understood, right after Black Friday. So Black Friday and then Shop Small Saturday. I've heard a lot of different names for that, but shopping locally on Saturday is a big thing, I know. And then what they're going to try to do is make Sunday a Secondhand Sundays. I don't know why it's plural for Sunday, so I wonder if they're maybe launching a bigger effort where it's multiple different weeks. But Secondhand Sundays is something that they're going to be focusing on in the coming holiday season. So that's really important to know. That's next month. So we're going to be getting more information hopefully about that here soon. But my guess is he's announcing that they're launching it, and then we're going to get a lot of things pushed at us. So that's something to plan for though too. So definitely stay tuned and keep watching to see what's gonna come out from Poshmark in the next month, because hopefully that will be a really big day for us who are resellers or just for shopping in general. I wonder if they're going to give some sort of discount. I hope it comes out of Poshmark and not the sellers, because we're already giving Poshmark so much money. But I think it'd be huge even if for sellers they lowered the percentage they take to 10% on that day and maybe offered free shipping on everything and they take the shipping. That would still make them a lot of money and would build such an increase of people wanting to shop on Poshmark on Sunday. That would be huge. I hope they do some sort of discount. If it's not discount, I think free shipping would be huge. Something that they could offer even on that day would make a huge difference. I would be much more willing to shop if I got free shipping and I didn't have to take it out of the seller's paycheck. That would be amazing. Whew. So those were some of the huge things that they announced. I think that the real big takeaway is that they are going to roll back the freaking algorithm change. I'm very, very happy about that. The Posh shows, obviously we knew those were coming. They didn't give amazing information about that, but just knowing that in the next year, we're gonna look at a lot of changes there. And then also I think the other thing for sure is that Secondhand Sundays is coming, and that we're gonna probably get a lot more information in this next month, but at least now we can plan for it. I think those are all very helpful pieces of information. So that is basically the majority, the meat of the call. There's a lot of fluff in between, but those 3 points were really the meat. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you want to see more Poshmark tips, more things about thrifting and secondhand living, then make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up button. It really helps out my video a lot. So get ready for hopefully an amazing weekend ahead of us. Oh, I really hope that that really helps our sales. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And until the next video, bye.